It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 2025 UTS 3 Minute Thesis Final, hosted by UTS Library in partnership with UTS Startups and the Graduate Research School. My name is Associate Professor John Rees, Director of Research and Training in the Graduate Research School, and I will be your MC for today. A few housekeeping notes. Accessibility is very important to us, so for those joining us on Zoom, firstly, hi, welcome, thanks for zooming in. We've set up live captioning for you, if that is an option that you would like to have, and please see the Enable Your Captions option. There's also a chat function that's available to you if you have any questions. I'd also like to welcome everyone in the Great Hall. Hi. Hi. Can we do that again, please? Hi. Hi. Thank you. Please place your phones on silent. You know, these little devices that run our lives? Not for the next little while. And for anyone that needs the restrooms, the amenities are outside and on this floor across the other side of the building. Before we begin our proceedings and to start our formalities, it's my great pleasure to introduce UTS Elder in Residence, Auntie Glendra Stubbs, who will offer the acknowledgement of country. Thank you, Auntie.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you, John. Yalamandu Marang Galindara. I'm very proud to be the Elder in Residence at UTS. I've been to many of these 3-minute theses, and I thought being a 70-year-old something person and getting around the city was stressful enough, but I've seen how stressful a 3-minute thesis is. I know people have done a thesis that have gone mad. Truly, like really altogether people, and all of a sudden they're under their desk sobbing. Does that relate to anyone? Yeah. Oh, yeah, hi, Uncle. Yeah, so I'm proud to be the Elder in Residence at UTS. I mean, I think UTS stands for everything I believe in. You know, like having a fair go, supporting people, supporting our most disadvantaged, and wrapping our arms around each other and helping our fellow human beings. So it's a pretty good place to be, eh? So yes, like I said, I have been to many of the 3-minute thesis, and I just thought, my God, those poor babies. Because honestly, you got to fit all those years sometimes into 3 minutes, and the pressure's on. And don't go over the 3 minutes because there'll be a dong going. True? True. True. And stretch it out every second you've got. I can imagine how many times you have practiced at home with the stopwatch and the poor mother sobbing beside you to make sure that you get in the 3 minutes, and how many words you had to cut out. So you need to be really proud of yourself. You need to be proud of that you are here, that you haven't given up, and you've soldiered on. So I should have done the acknowledgement. Anyway, I'd acknowledge that we're on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. As I was running late, it was because I've triple booked myself today.
In demand.
In demand, but you know, this is, I did make it from across from the Aboriginal Women's Leadership Program in the record time of 1 minute, eh? Because this is really important. You have put years, your families have supported you. You know, some people are away from their families and their communities to do this thesis, but it's really important stuff, because I believe it's like a lot of research into what we need to have in this country. I've seen some of the theses that have really made a difference. So, you know, proud of you, proud of yourself. And we are on the land of the Gadigal people, and I pay respects to my elders past and present, but I also say respect to my non-Indigenous brothers and sisters, because we hold hands and walk together in a beautiful country. You know, this is the best country on earth. We do welcome people. Everyone is welcome here as far as I believe, and if they're not, let me know. I'll get them. Thank you so much. Enjoy your time. It's over. You've done it. Woohoo!
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You be okay?
Yeah, darling.
All right.
And I've got my deadly Treadley.
Thank you, Auntie.
Thank you, darling.
Every competition needs a judge, or should I say judges. And I would like to introduce the judges for this evening. First, we have Associate Dean, Research of the Faculty of Design and Society, Professor Hua Cillier. Welcome, Hua. Hua is Professor of Urban Planning and President of the Commonwealth Association of Planners. She has been recognised with numerous accolades, including being a finalist in the prestigious Women in Science Awards and the South African Science and Technology Awards, and is the recipient of the South African National Teaching Excellence Award and the New South Wales Executive Leadership Award. Welcome. Our next judge is Mr. Michael Gonzalez. Welcome, Michael. Michael is the UTS University Librarian. He leads a dynamic portfolio encompassing library services, informal learning, learner support, and the research and student experience. Welcome. Our third judge is Associate Professor Sarah Kinkle. Welcome, Sarah. Sarah is the Deputy Dean of the Graduate Research School at UTS. She is an author, speaker, and advocate for the role of research in building an innovative, sustainable, and resilient future. Welcome, Sarah. And our final judge, certainly last but not least, is Mr. Murray Herbst. Welcome, Murray. Murray is Director of Entrepreneurship at UTS, where he leads Australia's largest community of student-launched startups. He is also Managing Director of Startup Muster, the largest survey of the Australian startup ecosystem. I'd like to thank our judges for giving of their time so generously. I don't want to see any of their inboxes. I don't want to know how busy they are. We can just be very grateful that they're here today, so thank you. And next, we have our stars of 3MT. Too numerous to name in one go, but let me introduce them to you as they speak and present, but you can see all of our contestants here. Will you welcome them? Congratulations. You made it. You got through your faculty, school, and institute rounds. You've done this before, and we look forward to you doing it again. And now to give you a brief overview of the competition. The aim of 3MT is for the finalists to explain their thesis, essentially the how, the why, the what of their work. They need to take 3 or 4 years of hard work and research, as Auntie Glendra indicated, up to 100,000 written words that would have taken, if one was to read 100,000 written words, up to 9 hours to recite. They must take all of that and summarise it in just 3 minutes. So easy. Before we start, here is a brief overview of the rules. Presentations are limited to just 3 minutes. They can only use one single static PowerPoint slide. No additional media or props are allowed. And finally, the decision of the adjudicating panel is final. While the judges will decide today's winners and runner-up, you, the audience, both at home and here, will also have a chance to nominate your favourite speaker in the People's Choice vote. More on that shortly. So what will our judges be looking for? There are two major criteria. The first one is for comprehension and content. Did the presenter clearly explain what inspired their research, the background behind it, and why it matters? Did they walk us through how the research was carried out and what they discovered along the way? And did they clearly communicate the conclusions, the outcomes, and the broader impact of their work? Welcome to UTS, impact, so important for us. The other criteria is for engagement and communication. Was the presenter clear and easy to understand, using language that anyone, even without a research background, could follow? Did their PowerPoint slides support the talk effectively, helping to highlight and enhance clear points and key points? And did the presenter show genuine passion for their research and keep us all engaged from start to finish? 3 minutes in presenting can actually be a very long time, and can you keep us alert and awake and keen? Of course, there are cash prizes to be won at the end of this evening. The overall winner will receive $3,000. The runner-up and People's Choice Award winners will receive $1,000 each. The winner will also represent us here, UTS, in the 2025 Asia Pacific 3MT Grand Final. The Grand Final will bring together University 3MT winners from across Australia, New Zealand, Oceania, Northeast Asia, and Southeast Asia. So a real honour to represent us and to fly the flag, not only for your research, but for research excellence here at UTS. Finally, you will decide on the People's Choice Award. This year, voting will be done online. Please take out your smartphones, you know those ones you switched to silent before? And if you can, please turn the brightness down. My notes say that, I don't know why. And please open your web browser and log on to slido.com, right there on your screen. And the event ID is #2465545, or scan a QR. I'll let you fumble and put it in and take some time so that we all have the capacity to vote when the time comes. This is for you playing at home or in the office as well. Voting will open once our first competitor has completed their presentation. To vote for your favourite presenter, simply use your touchscreen to tap on their name. You may only vote for one competitor, but you can change your vote at any time until the voting closes. And I can imagine that's what some of us will do. Oh, that was awesome, vote. Oh, that was awesome, vote. That was awesome, vote. Let me change my mind. That's okay, you can, because all of our presenters, I'm sure, will give us a hard task this evening. You will have approximately 15 minutes after the final presentation concludes to confirm your People's Choice vote.
One contestant is missing in the list.
Thank you, Buva. I have been informed from the floor that one contestant is missing in the list. She's on it. That will be taken care of. Thank you so much. Okay. Follow me, everybody, and particularly the contestants. Ready? Breathe in and out. All right. Let us commence. I would like to welcome our first finalist, Hanwei Yu from the Faculty of Engineering and IT. Hanwei's presentation is titled Upgraded Ion Screening, VIP Access for Lithium. Welcome, Hanwei.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Zootopia, Green City. I'm Bunny Judy's new colleague, Han Wei, in the Department of Environmental Security. Let me share an exciting news. To protect our land and air, Zootopia is moving away from fossil fuels and embracing clean energy. So, to make the mission happen, we need a special gas, the lithium, also called the white gold. Lithium powers batteries, electronic devices, electric vehicles, which are crucial to everybody's life. It is absolutely our Mr. Big, the VIP we are after. But where does our VIP come from? A small portion of lithium is mined from hard rocks, but those resources are limited, nearly exhausted. And the mining process is hurting the environment. In fact, over 99.99% of lithium is dissolved in the natural water bodies, such as seawater. What a monumental and sustainable resource, but extremely dilute and challenging to extract. Why? Because lithium has amounts of billions of other ions. They look similar. They carry charges, they rush to the gate, competing to get in. But our border security system doesn't work smartly. All other ions come through. No, I cannot let it happen. It's time to upgrade our checkpoints. Ion separation system. Upgrade 1, the side scanner. It's like a narrow gate blocking all the big ions out. Upgrade 2, the charge detector. It can instantly detect and separate the negative ions and overcharged ions. The third upgrade is a real breakthrough, built with advanced ion recognition. Even in a crowd of lookalikes, it can spot lithium and says, access granted. These upgrades have achieved over 20 times faster extraction speed and over 100 times higher lithium selectivity. That means lithium gets in the VIP lanes effectively and efficiently. This gives our city a smarter, safer, and brighter future. As for me, I'm proud to help build a future where the sustainable lithium powers a cleaner and greener world for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Han Wei. At the end of each presentation, we will invite a number of judges to offer a few comments. And I would like to invite Michael and Yua to offer comments for Han Wei. Thank you.
I'll go first. That was really exciting, and I could actually see that you were excited about your own topic, and that was actually really good to see. Love the visuals. I like Zootopia, so I could see it.
Thank you.
And the other part I thought was actually really interesting is the way you kind of created like an immersive approach. So it sort of dragged us into your world to be able to talk about something that's quite complex and actually get to the outcomes quite quickly. So congratulate you on that. It was really good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You said everything that I wanted to say, but I wanted to say great energy. It's, I think you captured the audience by the way you started. You sold a really difficult topic in a way that make it sound really easy to do. Which is probably, if you're on top of your game in your discipline, making that all sound easy, I think is a great thing. And for me, it was the clear results were linked to your research problem, so it came through, but in a good way of storytelling. So yes, congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Will you congratulate Han Wei? Thank you. I would like to invite our second finalist to present, Samara Bridge from the Faculty of Science. Samara's presentation is titled, Trust Your Gut, how a poo sensor could detect cancer early. Thank you.
Ignorance is not bliss. In the case of bowel cancer, it could cost you your life. Bowel cancer, when caught early, is over 90% treatable. Interestingly, it's still the second leading cause of cancer deaths in Australia, taking over 5,000 lives each year. Why? Because early bowel cancer doesn't shout, it whispers. Its symptoms are vague, often invisible, and our current diagnostics rely on symptoms already being present. By then, it's often too late. Australia's National Bowel Cancer Screening Program looks for hidden blood in poo. Now, if you can imagine, blood in poo is not unique to cancer. Many other conditions could trigger the exact same result. Take inflammatory bowel disease, for instance. And to make matters worse, participation in the program remains low at around 40% of eligible Australians taking part each year. And of those, only 6% return a positive result, whilst only 3.8% actually have cancer. So, with this in mind, and the $1 billion healthcare burden, and the high false positives, and the high mortality rates, it is clear we need to do something better. Well, that's where my PhD project steps in. We build biosensors, tools that detect molecular changes linked to disease. And we think that we've found one of these changes in something you flush away every single day, in your poo. Now, here's the catch. Detecting meaningful biomarkers in poo is difficult. It's full of a lot of waste and random molecules. However, we have found something that seems to cut away at all this noise, and it's called phospholipase A2, or PLA2, and it's an enzyme that shows up at the very first signs of cancer. So we had an idea. What if we gave these molecular scissors something to cut? Every cell in your body is made of this membrane, and these membranes are made of fats or lipids. We can take these lipids and make our own membrane in the lab, like giving PLA2 a sheet of paper. So, if these molecular scissors are present in your poo, our biosensor can detect the cut. Now, our hope is that one day this could be added to the national screening program, because when it comes to bowel cancer, early detection is the cure, and we may have finally found a way to hear cancer's whisper before it starts to shout. So the next time you go to the toilet, think, what if your poo could talk? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samara. We welcome comments from Sarah and Murray.
Do you want to go?
Up to you.
Thank you so much for that. Really loved the closing, and I will have a hard time not thinking about that the next time I use the toilet, so thanks for that. I think you did such a fantastic job really setting up this problem so clearly. This is highly treatable. It's also incredibly deadly. And so there's this real urgency, I think, around what you're talking about here that sets us up really well from the beginning. I also think that you did a good job finding an analogy for the audience to be able to latch onto, to be able to understand this really complex process that you're talking about. So I think those were two of the things that really stood out to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's hard to add to that. It was incredibly easy to understand. A whole bunch of people in my family have been affected by this, as have, I'm sure, many people here. This is fantastic. You should feel incredibly proud.
Thank you so much.
We welcome our third finalist for this afternoon, Claire Colquhoun from the Faculty of Law. Claire's presentation is titled Access to Justice and Secure Care in New South Wales. Thanks, Claire.
Take a second to think about what you were doing when you were 12. Arguing with your sibling over what to watch on television, or playing cricket on the street until the lights came on. Now, imagine something completely different. You're still 12, but like Sarah, you don't live at home because it's not safe to. You sleep on the streets. You use ice every day. You have been physically and sexually assaulted in unsafe environments. You have significant mental health issues, and sometimes when you get really upset, you harm yourself, often so seriously that you need medical or surgical intervention. But as soon as you have an opportunity, you run away, making it impossible for anybody to engage or support you. And so the cycle of harm continues. In New South Wales, children like Sarah can be detained without a criminal conviction in something called secure care. This extreme deprivation of rights is aimed at keeping children safe from catastrophic harm or death. Children usually stay in secure care for about 2.5 years. Since 2009, 66 children in New South Wales have been detained in secure care. My research is the first in New South Wales to investigate the legal rights of these children and how those rights are protected, from their initial placement in secure care throughout the period of detention. It considers how these children access justice through things like participation, having their voices heard, having access to an independent solicitor. I interviewed all the players involved in this process, including judges, lawyers, caseworkers, managers, and people who have previously been detained in secure care, to understand the process and to understand what the key concerns were. From this, some significant and compelling issues have come to light. One, there is a drastic overrepresentation of girls and First Nations children in secure care. Two, the judges hearing these matters don't have any specific training. In fact, they often hear commercial or property disputes. Three, the children themselves have very limited access to the court process. And four, even their lawyers don't feel heard when in court. My research is making recommendations to improve the legal rights and protections for some of the most invisible children in New South Wales. Because we have an obligation to create a legal process that minimises marginalisation and ensures that children have access to justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claire. I would now like to invite Michael and you to offer some comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done, Claire. I've got a daughter that's 12, so I could see this unfold in many ways, and it's close to home as you speak to it. I think you had a striking start there. I think you described your methodology in a really easy way for a broad audience to understand. I think you presented clear results, which is quite concerning and highlights the value of your research. So you did really well to do all of that in 3 minutes. Well done, great study, great research.
I thought you did a fantastic job of introducing me to the concept of secure care, because I did not know anything about it, and it was actually interesting to hear about it. You know, with 3 minutes, it actually made me want to learn more, so I think it's actually quite successful on your behalf, so I'd be keen to understand more about what that is. And everything Jill said, particularly around the process and how you've come to your conclusions, was really clear. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our fourth presenter this afternoon is Hannah Mullen from the Institute for Sustainable Futures. Hannah's presentation is titled Management of Hazardous Chemicals in Clothing, the Case for Silver Nanoparticles. Thanks, Hannah.
Imagine you're on a morning walk. The birds are chirping, the trees are swaying, and you take in a deep breath of fresh air. But on this walk, are you thinking about whether your socks smell? Most people aren't, but over half of clothing brands seem to think we are. anti-odor, antibacterial, and stays fresh are all on the labels of clothing like socks, underwear, and activewear. But what we don't realise is that these features can come from harmful chemicals. One of these chemicals is silver nanoparticles. Silver nanoparticles are tiny particles, so small they can penetrate the skin, the cells of humans, plants, and animals, causing serious harm to human health and the environment. Their use in clothing is especially concerning because we are increasing their usage in these non-essential items without considering the impact this is having. This means we're creating new pathways for pollution. Yet despite these risks, there is still limited regulation of silver nanoparticles in clothing, meaning that clothing brands are left to voluntarily opt in to industry-led initiatives if they want to do anything about hazardous chemicals. But this approach isn't working, and this is where my research comes in. I'm asking, what is industry doing to eliminate hazardous chemicals? And what are the barriers and enablers for brands to take more responsibility for the impacts of these chemicals? To answer these questions, I've been speaking with brands and the NGOs behind industry-led initiatives. One key barrier I've found so far is that brands often don't know what chemicals are in their products, let alone the risks involved, and they rarely disclose this information. In fact, I found 76% of brands selling antibacterial clothing provide no information on chemicals used. This leaves us as consumers unable to make informed purchasing decisions and means we don't know what hazardous substances could be recirculated in recycling systems. But that's just one part of the puzzle. As I explore why barriers like knowledge gaps exist and how to overcome them, my research will provide new insight to industry, including what brands can do themselves, what external support is needed, and what safer alternatives exist. Using these insights, I'll provide practical industry guidelines so that we can prevent harm now before it happens.
Oh, stay there. Don't run away. Thank you so much for that, Hannah. I'd like to invite judges' comments from Murray and Sarah.
That was awesome. And I'm now scared of something new. So thank you very much, but incredibly convincingly presented. Well done.
I think one of the things that you did well here was pick out a couple of key elements to, again, allow us to sort of hook our understanding and our imagination into the fact that, 76% of companies aren't disclosing this. I think one of the challenges sometimes when you're doing this incredibly in-depth research is trying to figure out what we can pull out to help people understand the size and the scope of the problem that we're dealing with. And I think that's details like that are really well chosen to help people understand the scope of the problem and then also the scope of the impact once we actually start to resolve it. So thanks.
Thank you.
Remember to keep those Slido votes close at hand. Our next presenter is Adam Haysom McDowell from the Faculty of Health. Adam's presentation is titled Detour Ahead, Disrupting Lung Cancer's Escape Routes. Thanks, Adam.
I'm sorry, you have lung cancer. It's the most common type, called non-small cell lung cancer. But with surgery and chemotherapy, you have a 1 in 5 chance of surviving 5 years. Imagine hearing those words. Over 2 million people around the world hear them every year. Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related deaths, killing 9,000 Australians last year. Patients receiving chemotherapy and radiation will endure terrible side effects. But the patient isn't the only one with the drive to survive. You see, lung cancer is clever, and just like Google Maps, it's always searching for alternative pathways to survive and grow. Now, cancer drugs work like roadblocks. They block nutrients, cut off blood supply, and they even set traps to make cancer cells self-destruct. But lung cancer finds new pathways. It adapts and it spreads and it sets up new colonies in other organs. This is called treatment resistance and metastasis. It's exactly what makes non-small cell lung cancer so deadly. And this is where my research begins. For thousands of years, plants have been used to treat lung disease. Today, we can isolate their powerful molecules called phytoceuticals. For my thesis, I'm exploring compounds from plants like phycetin from strawberries, because research shows they do have anti-cancer effects. But we have a problem. Compounds like phycetin are poorly absorbed. They don't travel well in the body. It's like trying to drive somewhere new with no directions. So we wrap them in tiny delivery vehicles called nanoparticles. These help the body absorb the molecule and drive it straight to the tumour. But let's not stop there. In our bodies lives an entire workforce, trillions of organisms called the gut microbiome. These microbes influence tissue repair in the lungs via the gut-lung axis. So in my lab, I treated human lung cancer cells with nanoparticles loaded with phycetin and an extract from the microbiome because I wanted to know, would there be a synergy that could increase the roadblocks? Well, the cancer cells seemed to lose their map. I measured how they responded, their ability to replicate slowed, their movement slowed down, and most importantly, they couldn't form a new colony. My future research includes Australian natives like lemon myrtle. By unlocking nature's pharmacy and using nanoparticles to deliver precision medicine, I hope my research can redraw the roadmap of lung cancer treatment and disrupt lung cancer's escape routes, so those who hear those final words have better pathways. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adam. And I would now like to invite Michael and you up to offer their comments. Thank you.
That was great, and you did all of that with 3 seconds to spare. I can see the clock. What I really liked about yours is actually I was looking at your image, and I was wondering why the different pieces were there, and actually as I heard along, it actually told a really clear story. So I was like, why are there trucks? But then, you know, it was actually really interesting. And I want to sort of congratulate that, because that's the bit where you kind of merged your narrative with your image, which actually worked really well, I thought, and made it quite accessible for someone who doesn't know anything about the topic. So thank you. Good. Thank you.
Well done, Adam. It was really well presented, well spoken. I can show you, I wrote there a really great slide. I'm not just copying what Michael's saying. I did think your slide was really well defined and it enhanced the presentation, so that was really good. You gave us another thing to worry about, to add to the previous one. But you clearly presented the significance of this research, and I like the reference to nature's pharmacy. I think that will sit in everybody's head as we walk out here, so it was really well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm informed by our wonderful team that Slido has been amended to include everyone, so please refresh and re-vote if you've already cast your vote. Refresh and re-vote. But we're not done yet. Every vote cast is a draft vote. Even a vote for those little blue trucks that are now realising that are driving around inside me. Our next presenter is Priya Soy Pulikal from the UTS Business School. Priya's presentation is titled From Home to Host, the lived experience of intersectionality among skilled migrant workers in Australia and Saudi Arabia. Thank you, Priya.
Meet Anjali. She's at a job interview in Australia. She's a woman and Indian and brown-skinned and speaks English with an Indian accent. I stress the word "and" because these identities don't exist separately. They overlap. They intersect, and that intersection shapes how we are seen, heard, and hired. Researchers call this intersectionality. It's also the heart of my PhD research, exploring how overlapping identities like gender, ethnicity, and migration status shape the work experiences of skilled migrants. You might think with so many migrants and anti-discrimination laws, fairness should follow. But fairness fails because real life is intersectional. I heard this again and again in my interviews with highly qualified Indian women in Australia and Saudi Arabia. Different countries, different cultures, yet their stories were strikingly similar. Not smooth transitions, not equal opportunities, but barriers. Barriers to belonging, to visibility. And these barriers aren't one-off incidents. They are patterns, systemic. So how do we fix this? I focused on the entry point, hiring. I designed an experiment with real recruiters in Australia to see if Indian women face hiring discrimination and whether nudges could reduce it. Nudges are subtle prompts that help decision makers pause and reflect, like a gentle tap on the shoulder. In my study, they either reminded the interviewers the benefits of diversity or warned them the risks of discrimination. These nudges don't force change, they invite it. Just a small, simple nudge at the hiring stage could yield big wins. Fairer hiring, fewer barriers, and no need for expensive diversity training. Let's return to where we began. Now imagine you are Anjali. You are at an interview that finally sees you. Not your accent, not your skin tone, not your gender, just your worth. That's the change my research is working toward. And as an Indian woman, I know how deeply this matters. Because it means migrants like Anjali, like me, can navigate Australian workplaces with confidence. But this change isn't just for Anjali, and it is not just for me. When workplaces, from startups to multinational companies, see skills instead of stereotypes, everyone benefits.
Thank you very much, Priya. And now Sarah and Murray for comments.
Thank you so much for that. I think one of the things that really stood out for me in your presentation was how much the performance and embodiment of what you were saying really helped bring people along on the journey of what you were explaining to us. I think you're a really good performer. I think that really stands out. I also really liked I thought you did quite a good job explaining the methodology of what you were doing and are clearly really passionate about seeing it through. Thanks.
Same. I would love to see a job interview where you launched into that from memory without blinking the entire time. That was perfect. Any job interview that started with that will go well, but well done.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Ahmed Danar. Ahmed's presentation is titled From Scan to Step, Custom Knee Ankle Foot Orthoses, KAFOs, for polio survivors. Thank you.
Hello. Five steps. How many of you counted each step I took? How many of you envied each step I took? Many of us don't think about this. Walking, one of the most common forms of movement since the start of mankind, something that many of us take for granted. Hundreds of millions worldwide struggle with this. One of the oldest neurological reasons for this is polio. It causes weak muscles and paralysis in the legs. My name is Ahmed. I'm an industrial designer and researcher working with an orthotic clinic in Sydney. Polio, isn't that so last century? You may be surprised to know that there are over 25 million worldwide who have it. 500,000 here in Australia. To assist with walking, a knee, ankle, foot orthosis is used. These are very complex mechanical devices. However, doctors have figured this out centuries ago. Haven't they? Today, we still use very primitive and labor-intensive methods that are expensive and super wasteful. In the eyes of the patients, it's widely documented that this process is uncomfortable, and many don't wear it due to its overpowering and industrial look. Typically, these can take up to 2 months to deliver, which is far too long. Fortunately, the orthotic clinic and I have used an innovative method called fused pellet modeling. It's a fast 3D printing process that's great for large and durable products. Instead of 2 months, 2 weeks. Alongside this, a testing framework where any new device or material can get tested, hoping to influence new TGA regulations. The patient walks into the clinic, gets a 3D scan of their limb, then can decide what colors or features they would like. This is crucial. They can now have a meaningful and custom device that suits their own lifestyle. Once the orthosis has done its job, it gets sent back to us. We can slice it up and shred it, throw those granulates back into a printer, and reprint another orthosis, now for a new patient, creating a sustainable and closed loop. Polio, cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, and the rise of trauma events can definitely benefit from this new digital workflow. 25 steps. It's 2025. Let's help make each step feel steady, strong, and comfortable.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. And now for our judges.
Thanks, Ahmed. Great. Great opening. I started by writing great opening. I had some comments, and then I said great ending. So you brought it all together in a very compelling story. You framed your research question in the first 10 seconds. You had everybody's attention. You contextualized the problem. Great slide, great confidence. I think overall, great presentation. Well done. Sorry.
All said well. What I want to actually say is actually really interesting because it's, I really love the way it brought so much of what we do at UTS together. So there's product design, there's creativity, there's technology, there's sustainability, and it's all about delivering good for society. And I just want to congratulate you on sort of taking advantage of everything we offer here and turning it into a great research topic.
Our next presenter is Eric Duku from the Faculty of Design and Society. Eric's presentation is titled Solving the Crisis in Small-Scale Fisheries, the Case of Ghana. Thank you, Eric.
Imagine you wake up at 4 a.m. The blue ocean is your office. Your wooden canoe is your lifeline. For generations, your ancestors have fed their communities with fish caught with their own hands. But today, something is wrong. I am Eric, one of Ghana's 3 million small-scale fish workers. 30 years ago, my father would return home with a net full of fish. Today, I spend twice as long at sea and return with a net full of plastic. The numbers tell a heartbreaking story. Fish catches have dropped by 50% in just 26 years. My country is on the verge of losing 60% of our protein intake that comes from fisheries. Behind these statistics are families facing an uncertain future. This is the same story across the global blue economy. So, how can researchers help? My Ph.D. research focuses on improving the governance and sustainability of small-scale fisheries by unveiling gaps and creating opportunities using the concept of interactive governance. I interviewed 45 fish workers and 25 other key stakeholders along Ghana's coast, looking at communities, governance, and agents at all levels of fisheries management. My research revealed that the socioeconomic needs of small-scale fish workers are not sufficiently incorporated into fisheries governance structures. Lack of grassroots participation and low livelihood protection means that fish workers feel excluded from decisions affecting them. Poor representation has weakened their engagement, and collaboration is merely symbolic. Fish are disappearing, leaving families without reliable food and income. Young people leave their communities and traditions, and crime increases as people struggle to survive. But there is hope. My research uncovers something beautiful. When communities collaborate, magic happens. In those communities where fish workers, government officials, and civil society organizations join hands, fish workers see themselves as active partners in decision-making, supporting and complying with sustainable management measures. Illegal fishing and dumping has decreased, and fish populations are recovering. Now, I have developed a framework so that the next generation of fish workers in Ghana and along the global blue economy come home with nets full of fish again. And we will proudly say in our language, Hiampuano, our coast, our future, your future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And comments from our judges.
That was amazing. I just had a quick glance at the audience. Every single set of eyes was on you. No one was on their phone. That was amazing. So congratulations on extremely engaging presentation on that, and something that's not just applicable there, but is potentially applicable everywhere. Nice work.
Thank you.
One of the things I really liked about your presentation was the way that you moved between the statistics and the personal elements of it, and you really grounded us in that from the beginning by grounding yourself in it as well. And so I think that gives both a sense of the scope of the challenge, but also why it matters. I mean, it matters at that systemic level, but it also clearly matters at a personal level as well. And I liked the way that you talked about the outcomes and the impact of your research and where this is going to in the future as well. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Sarah Mould from the Faculty of Design and Society. The title of Sarah's research is How Writers Can Use Literary Science Fiction to Create Fat Hope. Thanks, Sarah.
When I was 11 years old, Dad sat me down in front of the television and said, "Sarah, you must watch this show and you must like it." That show was Doctor Who, and that's when I like to say I started my PhD. Science fiction has always had an incredible ability to create speculative visions of the future. It allows us to imagine and shape what our culture could be. This is particularly true for writers who push science fiction to its feminist potential, creating worlds free from sexism. But despite that potential, one question kept popping up. Where am I? Where are all the fat women in the future? In Australia, over 60% of women are considered fat, and yet when we look to literary science fiction, we don't see any. Fat women either don't exist or wear negative and unhappy stereotypes. This has a profoundly damaging effect on all women. It restricts which bodies we see as normal and desirable, and leads to worse physical and mental health outcomes. It even limits our imagination. As part of my research, I interviewed a diverse range of fat women, and I asked them, what does a positive fat future look like? They could have said an entire planet of happy fat women on rocket ships. But they didn't. Every woman said the same thing. A chair. A chair that I fit in. Nothing else. So how do we fix that? I turned to Jose Munez's theory of queer hope. Munez argues that queer people and people who exist outside the normal must not focus our activism solely on the present, but should instead dream and enact new and better futures. My creative practice PhD uses this idea to create another version of hope, Fat Hope. I conceptualized, drafted, and edited my very own collection of science fiction short stories, centered on futures in which the fat body is a positive solution, joyous and revolutionary. I also created a framework so that other writers can better depict their fat characters and avoid harmful tropes. It's my way to contribute to science fiction, and it's my way to contribute to a more inclusive future, so that every kid who picks up a sci-fi book or turns on the latest episode of Doctor Who with Dad can see themselves represented and know that their body, their identity, is a beacon of hope. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And now comments from Ewa and Michael.
I really like the topic, and I really like the way you presented it, and I've got to say that slide was very fantastic and perfect. The part that I'm really going to compliment you on was the way that you wrote the stories and you brought that together, but also enabled other people to take that approach to turn something that could be potentially seen as negative into a strength. So I think that hopefully other people can take that on board. So thank you.
Well done, Sarah. I can see you've started your PhD when you were 11 years old. You gave this a lot of thought, and your passion is very evident, so it's great to see. I also think it's very valuable research. If we can get to a point where everybody can have a chair that they fit in, I think the world would be a happier place. And I think you also send us home with words that will be stuck in our heads of fat hope, and that's a happy story for all of us. It's a great piece of research, and you told it in a very compelling way. Congratulations.
Our final presenter for the 2025 3MT finals is Lucy Allen from the Transdisciplinary School. Lucy's research is titled Learning That Moves, Embracing Our Bodies in the Classroom. Thank you.
Welcome to science class. Today we are going to learn about friction. Bring your palms together and rub them as quickly as you can. Can you feel that heat? That is kinetic energy being turned into thermal energy. And you might be getting a little bit tired because there's resistance between our two palms. Okay, you can relax. This experience of feeling friction through the body is an example of embodied learning. Far more powerful than any textbook definition, this approach sees us using our bodies alongside our minds to make sense of things. Now, we know our bodies help us learn. Research tells us that posture affects our confidence, gesture supports memory, and movement supports engagement. And while teachers recognize the value of this, they can find it challenging to implement in the classroom. My research explores both the challenges and opportunities for implementing embodied learning in the university classroom. Working with teachers to understand their experiences, we found there are 5 key reasons we don't see more of it. First, there's a sense that learning with the body just isn't proper learning. Second, many teachers have had negative experiences with it in the past. People such as myself, teachers, haven't been taught about it in their training. Fourth, many of our classrooms aren't set up for it. They're filled with tables and chairs designed for sitting, listening, and lecturing. And finally, while embodied learning is embraced in areas like the creative arts, where does it fit within other areas of the university? I ran workshops with teachers and found that by providing a few key ingredients, we could work within and actually overcome these challenges. So we designed a training experience that brought these ingredients together. We gave teachers their own experience, hands-on experience of embodied learning with teachers from across the university so that they could develop understanding and confidence together. We then helped them notice how they were already using embodied learning. Most are, they just don't realize it. We then built on what teachers are doing well, recognizing the endless ways that embodied learning can be done. And finally, we supported them to experiment and take risks so that when they face a classroom full of tables and chairs, they can creatively adapt. Now, this training experience has been tested and implemented in 2 universities, and an adapted version is now part of teacher training within my own workplace here at UTS. If we want to see more of this in the university classroom, we must support our teachers to notice, experience, and experiment with embodied learning alongside others, building on what they already do well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Final comments from Murray and Sarah.
Well, obviously that was a fab opening. Both, I think, from the perspective of engaging the audience, but also from explaining what it is that you mean when you talk about embodied learning. So thank you for all helping us understand what embodied learning is by demonstrating it here today. I also thought you did a really strong job of explaining what the methods were, which again, I always find to be very impressive because of course it's so complex, and you made it really digestible and easy for us to follow. Well done.
Thank you.
Honestly, I can't add much to that. That was so impressive and a wonderful note to end on for the night. Well done.
Thank you, Murray.
Well, that concludes the presentation part of our late afternoon. You have a hard task. Our judges have a hard task because our 10 presenters were all so completely awesome. Would you congratulate them on some wonderful presentation? We are now going to allow the judges a few moments to deliberate, and we have something else to celebrate along the way. One of our co-event partners is the Graduate Research School that I have the pleasure to work for. And the Graduate Research School, in partnership with the library and other schools, faculties, institutes at the university, sponsor the HDR Awards. HDR Awards are designed to celebrate excellence in research against a common theme and are open to candidates in stages 1, stage 2, and stage 3. And the judges, like our own judges this evening, had an incredibly hard task in choosing from some excellent and very high quality submissions. I'd like to invite the chair of our judging panel, Dr. Catherine McAlone, Research Impact Facilitator from the Research Office, on stage to announce this year's HDR Awards, or to present these year's HDR Awards. The reason why Catherine was our wonderful chair, hard-working chair, was that Catherine's expertise is in research impact, and the common theme for our competition in 2025 for the HDR Awards was excellence in research impact. It's my great pleasure to invite our stage 1 winner, Jahnavi Mahajan. Come on up, Jahnavi. From the Faculty of Science, platelet shortages pose serious risk to patient care, with short shelf life leading to costly wastage and preventable deaths. Jahnavi's research, in partnership with Lifeblood and UTS, investigates cold-stored platelets as a way to extend shelf life and improve supply. By informing national transfusion protocols and manufacturing practices, the work directly supports safer, more efficient healthcare delivery. Congratulations. Our Stage 2 HDR Awards winner is Trishna Mulyati from the Transdisciplinary School. Despite billions invested in agricultural innovation, smallholder farms often remain excluded. This research bridges that gap by studying agri-tech adoption across 4 Indonesian provinces. Through co-designed resources and partnerships with local organisations, the work is already shaping startup strategies, informing policy, and improving access to innovation for farmers who feed much of the world. Congratulations, Trishna. Our Stage 3 winner is Naomi Folder from the Graduate School of Health. Naomi couldn't be with us this afternoon, and so receiving her award is Amy Cotton from the Graduate Research School. Communication breakdowns in dementia care can lead to isolation and early aged care placement. Naomi's research addresses that challenge by co-designing the first online training program for families in partnership with people living with dementia. So, in absentia, congratulations, Naomi. And congratulations to our HGR award winners. I would also like to thank our hard-working judges. This is your last opportunity to vote on that Slido for your favourite contestant for the People's Choice Award. Thank you. As we're taking our seats, obviously worth noting that a number of contestants appeared today from the Faculty of Design and Society. Long before our new faculty was formed, of course, there was the Faculty of Design, Architecture and Building over here, and there was the Faculty of Arts and Sciences over here. So if some of you are wondering why multiple contestants from the same faculty, it's our new faculty combining the wonderful talents of both prior faculties, if that makes sense. We also had a wildcard winner from the Faculty of Design and Society. As part of the judging process, we also acknowledged that one of our judges was from the Faculty of Design and Society. And like any peer-reviewed process, practicing what we preach, when it came to decision making, where relevant and if relevant, one of those judges recused themselves from a final decision process. So we had all the bases covered. And now to our winners. Who I don't know. Could we place Michael's microphone on, please? We'll do a tandem, Michael. How about we do that?
Am I announcing?
Yes, how about we do that? I will lead you in.
No.
And we'll do the tandem. I think you're all winners, myself, but these folk.
Okay.
Yes, in second place, we have Sarah Mould from Design and Society.
Michael, will you do the honours again?
And in the most wonderful coincidence.
Wait.
People's choice.
People's choice.
People's choice.
Yeah.
Now, the best part about the People's Choice is that I don't know who the People's Choice winner is. So,
I do.
the people say, oh, you do.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you sure we've got the right
I do.
information?
are you sure?
I'm sure.
Are you
I am
sure?
sure.
You're sure?
Yes.
Hold on, we're double checking.
Yeah.
Yes, Adam Hazen McDowell. Yes, so well, I can just do this.
And finally, the drum roll, the moment we've all been waiting for, the first place winner of the UTS 3 Minute Thesis Finals is Ahmed Dana from the Faculty of
Ahmed, I don't know if you're prepared for this, but my notes say the winner has to give a 1-minute talk. Could we set the timer up for 1 minute, please? Congratulations. Will you welcome Ahmed to the podium, please?
Wow. Firstly, this is my first time doing a victory speech, so bear with me. I want to say, alhamdulillah, thank God, very, very grateful. Thank you for the judges for choosing me, and I'm looking forward to representing this society on the Asian and Pacific stage, so thank you so much. And I'll do the typical, I'll just thank all the people that have supported me, so I'll be very quick. Thank you to my amazing family who've always been behind me. My lovely fiance. I want to thank my supervisors, Dr. Frederic, Dr. Berto, and Dr. Stefan. Orthotics, the clinic I'm working with, Merrick and Victor, who've welcomed me into this world of orthotics. Thanks to the amazing staff for the 3 Minute Tea, everyone's supporting it. And finally, congrats to all the contestants. Like, we know how much little time we have to do these, so we make this happen. We participate, we take the time out of it. So congrats to all of us as well. And finally, I did this for my love of public speaking, despite me shaking all the time, to challenge myself and to have a moment to share this research. So very grateful, and thank you again.
Thank you very much, Ahmed, and one final round of applause for all of our finalists for this evening. I would like to thank our judges for their time and insights and that wonderful, beautiful mad scramble at the end. I thought that was quite cool. Thank you for all coming along. Everyone's busy. This is the university sector, families, supportive friends, faculty, professional staff, academics. Everyone's busy and you've taken time to support our wonderful finalists today. And it is very indicative of the research community that is here at UTS. So thank you for your attendance. Lastly, but certainly not least, I'd like to thank everyone who worked so tirelessly behind the scenes. Some of them are up there to make this event possible. Ness, Hexter, Tess, Hobbes, Barak Ramali, Daniel Hamilton, and all of the faculty HEAT coordinators. I've seen quite a number of you here today. Thank you to the UTS Library, to UTS Startups, and to the Graduate Research School for their support, and to the HDR supervisors, associate deans, deputy heads, and directors of research in the faculties, institutes, and professional staff in the research management teams. And in her absence, thank you, as always, to Auntie Glendra Stubbs for her acknowledgement of country. Thanks, everyone. Have a lovely evening.